wow, yesterday I went on a mind-blowing, brain-opening experience. And if you bear with me, I'll unpack the story and you will get to see it towards the end. I also, the first time, didn't quite get it all until I got through it. Now, where did this all begin? Well, right here in White River is a theater, movie theater, one of the old style ones. You can still bring your partner, your husband, wife, kids, and come and see some of the latest movies. But good old theater style, right here in White River at Costa Bridge. And it was here that Monette and I were sitting a little earlier for the movie, and Audrey and her friend were sitting behind us, and we got to chatting, and she started telling me about regenerative farming, and I said, yeah, that sounds like organic farming to me and so forth. But anyway, the more she began to tell me about it, the more curious I became, and I didn't snap the first time, but until I went and visited, which was yesterday, down in Barbaton. You know, the one thing about this pass, going down to Barbaton, is you always remember it. So on the way I just had to stop. These stalls are very impressive. Look how neatly arranged these shops are. It's amazing. What is this, eh? It's a broom. Oh, is that what? Oh, of course, there we go. Oh, that's really nice, eh? I think I've got the directions right. Hello Audrey, how are you? So your directions were fantastic up until the red gate I'm looking for, which is hidden behind the other entrance that comes in. So I'm driving down the road looking for a red gate. How are you? I'm Brendan, how are you?
Good. Joe, nice to meet you. Nice to meet
John.
you.
Joe.
Nice to see.
Wow, look at that. Nice. And how's it, guys? All right, let's take the story further.
When we met, you said you didn't know anything about regenerative farming.
That's right.
What was that?
Yeah.
And I realized that regenerative farming is more about what you can't see. You're not going to see it, but I want to illustrate something to you. This messy garden with all sorts of things is a bit of a permaculture thing, which is a mixture. And I've been doing this for, say, 15 years.
Yes.
So the soil that is here has been very well fed and conditioned. If you had a teaspoon of this stuff, inside there,
Yes.
there's more microbes that you can.
What's microbes?
Organisms in the ground.
Okay, and why are they important?
I will tell you. I first want to tell you how many there are
Yes.
in this teaspoon.
Yes.
More than the world population of people.
Wow, of microbes.
Of microbes. If you had an electromagnet
Yes.
and you strewed this out and you
Yes.
could count to 7 billion
Yes.
or 8 billion, you will find them in there.
How are microbes important to all of us?
Very important. The problem with conventional farming,
Yes.
as opposed to regenerative farming, is that when we fertilize, put fertilizer in the ground,
Yeah.
or we spray for
Yes.
bugs and diseases and so on, we kill the microbes in the soil. And then we have to spend more money to feed the plants and give them more fertilizer. Otherwise they won't grow. I have not put fertilizer or sprayed for a bug in this garden for 15 years. And I harvest every single week. We harvested and delivered yesterday, so you won't find a lot of food here. But I sell a couple of $1,000 worth of vegetables from this little patch every week. No fertilizer, no insecticides, no pesticides, because the microbial life has been regenerated, and that is what regenerative agriculture is about. The intelligence between plants and soil works like this. You put a plant into the soil. The minute the roots start taking hold in the soil, it sends a message through the microbial elements. The microbes bring the essential elements to the roots of the plant, and the hair roots and so on, they take up the water and the elements that the microbes bring, And the microbes get paid by the plant that photosynthesizes and gives it sugars and carbon to live on. So it's a buy and sell. For our bodies to grow and live and survive, we need to tap into the source of the elements, which is the soil. It's got to get into our bodies somehow or another, and that is where plants and animals come in, because even animals that eat the grass, they pass those elements on to us. But the microbes in the soil, the organisms, are the go-between.
I'm understanding you saying that the pesticides and fertilizers are destroying those microbes, and that's how we've been robbed of essential vitamins.
Elements, all the elements of the soil, you know, all the...
Wow, then how the heck are we surviving, I wonder?
I've got a very good answer for you. We're not surviving very well. We have dread diseases more than we've ever had before. We don't have vitality of life like we should have. We have mental illnesses more than ever before. We are not surviving very well.
I get it. You're not using pesticides and you're not using fertilizers and so on. But how are you keeping the insects off of this from consuming your foods and your leaves and things?
When you kill insects, that poison does not choose the bad one from the good one. The poison kills everything. So you've got good insects and bad insects. We plant, I'll tell you just now why I've got flowers in here as well. It's to bring pollinators and insects that don't live on veggies, to bring them here to recover the ecology of this little area. Where the ecology is in balance, your pollinators and predators on biting insects meaning the ones that caterpillars and things that eat your
leaves,
yeah. Your good insects outnumber your biting or your bad insects by 1,700 to 1.
Okay, so by not killing them, they will all by themselves will manage each other.
All by themselves. I have not seen aphids in this garden for, I can't tell you how long, probably 8-9 years. I haven't seen an aphid. And what I've done before, in a bed of cabbages, there's one that's covered in aphids. Right in the beginning, I would dig that plant out and remove it from there so as not to influence the rest. These days I leave it because that's food for the predators. And the reason that cabbage is covered in aphids and all the others are not is because there's something intrinsically wrong around the roots of that plant. And I can't see it and I can't fix it for him, so I just leave him to feed the aphids and the caterpillars and the worms, because that is food for my predatory insects. And now I don't even find aphids or caterpillars or worms or any even grasshoppers. I don't find that in my garden. And I don't see the predatory insects, but they're doing their job because I don't find the bad ones that are bad for the plants. I said that the chemicals kill the microbes. Another thing that kills microbes is sunlight. And in order to prevent the microbial life in the soil to suffer, we use mulch. And we regularly, if we don't have enough of our own, we buy bales of hay, like we're doing this morning, and we're spreading it around the plants. It's like giving a baby a blanket to make him feel comfortable and safe. To keep sunlight, all right, we're standing in shade now, but where the plants are growing in sun. But we use an organic material like hay, which will break down. It's lying there, it's going to get wet, and the plants are going to be pulled out, and it's going to get covered in soil. It's going to become part of the soil, and it becomes compost. It composts itself where it is. and then we have to put the mulch again. So mulch is an incredibly important thing. And the other thing that we
control weeds?
It also controls weeds. The interesting thing is that vitally healthy plants control the weeds themselves as well, to a very large degree.
It's aha moment. I didn't realize it was going to be so dramatic on the brain, all of this, but I can see we've got so much to unpack.
I've been at this for years and I learn more every day or every week.
Yes.
I'm learning all the time.
Yes, yes. Wow. You were mentioning something about a study.
Yes.
The
blue zones.
Yes.
This person who was interested in knowing why certain people in certain spots on the globe grew older than 100.
Yes.
And he marked those spots with a blue koke on his map, world map, and that's why it's called the blue zones. Then he went to visit there to investigate, to try and get behind the secret of why so many people in that community grew to beyond 100, and found that mainly they grew whole foods. They didn't use chemicals of any kind. They did their own work, and there was the absence of processed food like supermarket food or takeouts or whatever. They ate what they grew on the land.
Seriously, all of this is food for thought.
Yes.